When I begin weaving, I like to start with a twining stitch that helps it to be very strong along that edge, and it helps it to not move as much. So I'm going to use a single strand cotton cord. This is a 3mm, so it's a little bit thinner of a cord, and I'm going to measure out about 3 lengths, so 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to double it. So then I will just stretch that, and this will help me to do 2 rows of the twining to start. I can always add more, but a good place to start is 2. First thing I'm going to do is wrap it under and over. I'm going to match up the ends to try and get it about even. And then as I begin, I'm going to take my first string that is going to go over, and then it's going to come under that next string above my string below. I always like to go up towards the top of my loom. This is going to come up towards the top of my loom and then go under that next string. And what is happening is they are starting to twist around those warp strings. So this will come up and then go under the next string. This helps create that strong stitch when it is wrapping both sides around the warp string. As I go, I want to make sure that I'm always going in the same direction. So I decided at the beginning that I was going to go up and under towards the top of my loom. If you were to choose to go down, you would just want to make sure that you're always doing the same thing, because when you switch directions, you don't want to switch the direction that you're doing. Now, if I need to kind of even things out, if this is pulling too much over on this side, or if it's too loose and it's bulging out, I can kind of play a little bit with those by, I can pull here and strum to make it tighter, or I can give it little pulls like this to loosen it up a bit, depending on what I need it to do. As I continue along, making it snug but not too tight that it's pulling in, and I get to this side, when I change directions to come back, I need to make sure that I'm still going up. So I'm going to come with the one that's going over on the last string. I'm going to go under first. And then I have this gap in between. I'm going to take my other string, and it's going to go in that gap, under that warp string, and up. And then I want to make sure that I pull these so they're kind of snug. And then I'm going to continue on going up towards the top of my loom. So I'm going over this one, under the next. Over, under, towards the top. So always going above the other warp string for me. If it's not right next to it, that's okay. You need to have that space to be able to get your fingers in there. We can always push it up later. That's what's nice about a twining stitch too, is that it can move kind of easily and gives you later on the ability to make shapes and curves in your weaving. All right, once I get back to that other edge, I'm going to start pushing up. I might need to even it out a bit, so I can kind of hold tight here, do some strumming, and even those strings out. Thinking about later on, this is the top of my weaving. I want to have enough space to be able to add a dowel later. So I might want about 2 to 2.5 inches from the top of my warp string to where this starts, because that's where my dowel will go. Okay, on this end, I have an option. I can either turn around and come back and have it stitch in a bit, and then I can make a knot and tuck it to the back so it's ready for my next stitch, and I could continue on right there with whatever I'm doing next. Or if I don't want it to be in the middle of my next part, I can undo that, and I can just tie it on the outside, and then later on I can double knot it and stitch it in the back. And that is how you do a twining row to help create stability. I also like to do one at the bottom of my weaving when I'm all done. Thanks for watching.